Okay, thank you guys for coming to my page today. This is the Wind Dragon page, and I'd like to wish you a wonderful day. But this video today is going to be about the history of Hung Gar Kung Fu, and I just want to quickly say before I begin reading, I'm going to be reading from this website called www.lungfu.com, and it's the history of Hung Gar page. And the reason why is I've read many different types of versions of it, and I felt personally that this was the most clear version that I could find online. I'm not saying it's the all-saying truth, but there's just a lot of really good points and history in here that I think modern martial arts audience today should hear, should know. If your teachers have never taught you this, they should. This is Kung Fu history. So to further deepen and further explain why I'm so passionate about Chinese martial arts, there's it's not just fighting, there's a lot of history to it. Okay? So I shall begin. The history of Hung Gar. Okay. The early history of Hung Gar, especially before Hung Gar Master Wong Fei-hung, is somewhat ambiguous and confusing. This is largely due to much of the history being passed down verbally from generation to generation, master to student. There are, however, some historical evidence and facts which sheds light to the origins and development of Hung Gar Kung Fu through time. Although the earlier history of Hung Gar is still not as clear as one would expect or want, there are ongoing efforts and research which may in the future clarify some of the historical contradictions and legends. Most widely accepted version regarding the origins of Hung Gar tells us that the history of Hung Gar begins during the 17th century in southern China. Hung Gar is said to have its origins in the southern Shaolin temple Xiu Lam Ji in Fujian province of southern China. According to the legends, the actual story of Hung Gar style begins with the Shaolin monk Yi Xin Sim see during a time of turmoil and strife when China was under the rule of Qing dynasty Manchu. The Manchurian conquest and rule, 1644 to 1911, of China was a deeply humiliating experience for the Chinese. The Manchus indeed made things harder for themselves as foreign rulers with their decree that Chinese men would have to adopt Manchu costumes, including the infamous Kui. This provoked violent Chinese popular resistance and helped the southern Ming princes rally forces against the Manchus for almost 2 decades. It is said that Gisin Simsi was a monk at the northern Shaolin temple. When the Qing troops burned down the northern temple, the monk Gisin, amongst others, managed to escape. He fled to the Fujian province of China, where he is said to have eventually become the abbot of southern Shaolin temple and trained many people in the art of Shaolin Kung Fu, including non-Buddhist monks who were known as Shaolin laymen disciples. According to the legend, it was during this time when a young patriot named Hung Gar took refuge at the southern Shaolin temple to hide from the Manchu officials. Legend has it that Hung Gar trained under Gisin Simsi and eventually became his top disciple. Hung Gar is widely considered as the founder of Hung Gar. Hung Gar disliked the Qing rule like many other Chinese and spent most of his life fighting to overthrow the Qing and restore the Ming. Hung's real surname was Ju. However, due to being one of the most wanted rebels of his time, he later changed his name to Hung to hide his real identity from the Qing government. He chose the name Hung as a tribute to the first Ming emperor Hung Mo Hongwu, who is widely considered as one of the best, if not the best emperor in the history of China. The Qing government, well aware of what was happening at the southern Shaolin temple, felt threatened by Shaolin temple and its activities. They planned a full-scale attack and sent imperial troops to destroy the temple and kill all the monks and rebels. The monks were outnumbered largely and did not stand a chance against the army. The Shaolin temple was burned down to the ground. Hung Gar and Gisin Luk Ah Choi, as well as some others, managed to survive the attack and fled to the southern parts of China. These men swore to spread the art of Shaolin and fight to overthrow the Qing, restore the Ming. At the time, Kung Fu training was banned by the Manchus, so Hung Gar Kuen taught his art secretly at the Big Buddha Temple in Guangdong, southern China. Once the ban was lifted, it is said that he began teaching openly and set up a school in Fa city of Guangdong province. He named his art Hung Gar Kuen, Hung family fist, mainly to hide its Shaolin connections from the Manchus. It is said that Hung Gar Kuen's Kung Fu brother Luk Ah Choi also opened a school in the Canton area and taught Kung Fu. Passed down from Luk Ah Choi, the traditions and teachings of Hung Gar were carried on by the three generations of the Wong family: Wong Tai, his son Wong Fei-hung, and his grandson Wong Fei-hung. Although all members of the Wong family become well known for their kung fu and medical skills, the most famous member of the Wong family was Wong Fei-hung. Wong Fei-hung is without a doubt one of the most renowned, respected and talked about kung fu masters of all time. His life and exploits has been immortalized by hundreds of movies, publications, TV and radio shows, comic book, etc. In fact, so famous that he has become a household name all over China, Hong Kong, and most parts of Southeast Asia. For Hung Gar practitioners around the world, he is considered as the father of the modern-day Hung Gar due to his additions and pivotal role on the development of Hung Gar Kung Fu as we know today. Wong Fei-hung trained with many other Kung Fu masters during his youth. It is said that he learned the famed iron wire technique from Lam Fuxing, a student of another famous Hung Gar hero, Tid Q Sam, real name Lung Quan. Tid Q Sam is regarded as one of the best Chinese martial artists in China. He was one of the 10 tigers of Guangdong Sup Fu. 10 tigers were the most famous and respected kung fu masters of the time. According to many sources, Tid Q Sam was the leader of the 10 tigers. His fame grew far and wide. Many from all over the country came to study under him. As Wong Fei-hung grew up, he earned an excellent reputation for his kung fu as well as for his skills as a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine. He also became known and respected for his strong character, honesty, righteousness, and moral values. He always helped those in need without asking for anything in return. Wong Fei-hung's martial skills and the effectiveness of his style Hung Gar was tested and proven time and time again in many open challenges. Many famous and skilled kung fu fighters of the time came to cross hands with Wong Fei-hung, but none could defeat him. The most famous student of Wong Fei-hung was Lam Sai-wing. Lam Sai-wing is the first generation of Lam family Hung Kuen masters to carry on the teachings and traditions of the style. Lam Sai-wing passed the art down to his nephew, adopted son Lam Chou. Today, Lam Chou's sons Lam Chun Fei and Lam Chun Sing carry on the traditions and teachings of Hung Gar handed down from their father basically. Well, anyways, that was a brief history of Hung Gar Kung Fu, and I just want to point out a couple of facts before I end this video. The Kung Fu history is amazing. It's suppressed in Western culture, especially in the modern martial arts. People do not want to discover the roots of martial arts, and so that's why so much foundation is lost, and there's such big misunderstanding. And I guess my purpose is to clarify. Me being an avid and passionate student of Chinese martial arts and a teacher, one of my purposes in my heart is to clarify what Chinese Kung Fu really is to the West, and to people that don't understand. But I just want to say that, man, Kung Fu was birthed out of great challenge and trials and tribulations in the life of many Chinese, from being overthrown by the Manchus and Shaolin temples being burned and monks having to run out, seek refuge in the mountains. We can see that to fighting from the Chinese using Chinese martial artists, uh, wanting to overthrow the government because of corrupt governments, and we see that today. Look, America is a corrupt government, and so the history is real. And as you can see, Master Wong Fei-hung, rest in peace. At that time, he was somewhat like a Bruce Lee of his time, because he was the most respected martial artist in China. And as I said, he had been tested over and over again, time and time again, and he was never defeated. So, anyways, I just want to say salute to Chinese martial arts, and I hope that this was informative and you've gained some knowledge today. Okay.